So, what are the qualities required for a successful, sustainable entrepreneur?
Very good question. And again, I can relate it to the behavior I have seen within my friends who are doing it quite well, and things that I have tried. So I think one of the biggest qualities for a successful, sustainable entrepreneur is resilience. And I say resilience, especially in the current situation, because if you are not resilient as a founder or a co-founder, or even as a young working professional, if you're in the founding team of a startup, for example, you are a part of a team which is taking up a mandate which is very challenging already, right? Because you have left your job or you finished your studies and straight away decided to take up entrepreneurship. In both the cases, your resilience has to be very high, your persistence has to be very high. Because if you're not resilient and you're not persistent, you're in the wrong job. I'm sorry to say that. Because if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you must be resilient. You must be prepared to see the highs and lows. Some people experience that in the share market and they have those guts to do it. The rest people do that through the entrepreneurship world, right? So if you don't have the capacity to go through this month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year, your employees might leave you, employees might love you. You still have to make the tough decisions because you're the boss, right? So I think the first quality is resilience. The second one I would say is resourcefulness. More than ever before. And as an Indian, I can say that we have learned this from our ancestors from thousands of years, that resourcefulness and respect of nature is the key to success. We have known this. I think it's just the last few centuries, this whole, the global economy, which has done its own wonders. The price I feel we have paid is that we have become a bit careless with our consumption. I think lifestyles across the world are not sustainable. We already see obesities, health issues across, right? That comes from the fact that we are in an abundance stage. A lot of us, at least in middle class, upper middle class families, we have more than what we need in many cases. And I think that we need to, again, use this time to reflect and see how, as an entrepreneur, you can be more resourceful. So let's say that you were traveling to 10 conferences in 12 months. And I was doing the same. So I was taking flights every, couple of weeks to go for a conference, to go for a meeting. I was in different countries. And now I'm able to do more and more of that work virtually. So if you're resourceful, not only are you contributing to the planet by reducing your flights and greenhouse gas emissions, but you also cut your cost, right? Like, how much does it cost to do a meeting online? Like, this conversation, yesterday I was having another one. Every day I have at least 1 or 2 video calls, for which I would have otherwise traveled to another country or another city. So I think resourcefulness is the second quality, which also brings you business benefits as obvious, right? The third one is, I have a debate between two of them, but I would still stick to this constant learning. The learning in this period, when you have more time and you're more free, let's say, because you're not stuck in traffic, you're not waiting at the airport for 2-3 hours, please use that time to upgrade yourself and become more familiar with how the global ecosystem is operating and working. So these are the three top qualities that I feel that people need to keep in mind. So being resourceful is really, really important. Maximizing all your resources, making sure that you're constantly learning and upgrading, whether you read a book, you hear a podcast, you see a video, anything else that you do. So if these qualities are kept in mind, I think you will create a sustainable business model.
Excellent, excellent. So the world is not going to be the same, in terms of mindset that we all share in a post-COVID world, isn't it? So which brings me to one more additional question that I wanted to ask you. Which books do you highly recommend for entrepreneurs to read? So which entrepreneurial books has had the maximum impact on you in the recent time?
The one author that I have been focusing for the last 1 year is Yuval Noah Harari. And the latest book that I read was 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, something like that.
Yes.
I think we are fortunate to have someone like him, who is not just an author. He's like a future he prophesizes. He looks at the next 10, 20, 30, even 100, 200 years. So he's someone that I would definitely urge you, if you don't have the time to read his book, at least see his videos, see his interviews on YouTube. It's freely available. uh, because he is making you think the whole century at least, right? And you and I are going to see a major part of the century, and he talks about it in a very scientific yet grounded way. He puts context to everything that he says.
Excellent.